Hey, welcome to my channel. I'm Dr. Shareece, and I help Black men and women heal from trauma and toxic relationships. And I love talking about God. Today, I'm here to discuss 7 tips that I think can help you live a more peaceful life. So think more ease, more flow, and inviting more joy into your life. The first one on my list is meditate. I really think if you meditated, you meditated 2 hours a day, but if you meditated 7 minutes, 2 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, like you pick a time that works for you. If you do that on a daily basis, you make it a habit, you are going to invite so much peace and solace in your life. You're going to find that solace and ease so that you can come back to it. You will be familiar with what it means to not be so preoccupied with your thoughts. And there are lots of different ways to meditate. If you have a really hard time sitting down and doing a traditional meditation where you just pay attention to your thoughts or find the space between your thoughts, I do encourage a guided meditation or listening to calming or relaxing music, like anything that can get you in the headspace of flow, where you're not worried about what's going to happen in the future, or you're not, sad or fixated on something that happened in the past. The goal is to be in the present moment. And there are a lot of things that we can do that is like a meditation, whether it's working out or me tending to my plants or cooking. As long as you're doing something mindfully, incorporating meditation into your daily practice, I think can change your life. You might not even have to consciously or intentionally do the rest of the things on my list if you actually find that peace with God, because meditation is really about allowing God to speak to you. Through prayer, we talk to God, but in meditation, we give that silence an opportunity to land, and the intuition, the Holy Spirit, there's different names for it, but that, feeling inside of you that gives you a sense of discernment or some feedback on if you're doing the right thing for this next step of your life. Practice some silence, practice some mindfulness, practice some meditation. The next one on my list is practice surrender. Surrendering to God is what I recommend the most, but whatever higher power you believe in, as long as you are not carrying all of your worries, your pain, your difficulties on your back, if you understand how to let those things go, I think you'll be in a much better place. Because we go through life is full of ups and downs, full of challenges. It's sort of what life is about. Things happen, life be life in. Your job is to respond to it in a way that will help you evolve your soul and move forward in a way where you can be peaceful and happy. And when I find myself, I think I have a playlist on surrendering, because it's something that I've incorporated a lot in my life, especially when we think about things that happen in life as a Black woman moving through this world. There are so many things that are out of our control. I can't fix it. I can't fix it. Oh my gosh. And really, I have no desire to fix it. So how can I still thrive in this world? Well, God is working in this world the same way he's working in my life for everybody else. Everyone else has an opportunity to tap into, love and the goodness of God. Everybody doesn't do that. That's clear, right? Which is why the world is in constant chaos. But you have an opportunity to tap into letting things go. And it could be on a macro level when we think about politics and who's in office and world news and economy. But we can also do it on a micro level. The people in your life. Did somebody hurt your feelings? Did somebody cut you off? How is a way that you can let things go and surrender your problems to God without feeling that you have to do something about it? Because so many things are outside of our control. And if you can't control it, it really doesn't make sense to worry about it. There's a really good Bible verse on worrying, right? Who by worrying can add another day onto their life? It doesn't work that way. Like, worrying really serves no purpose. I think anxiety can be helpful to give us direction. Like, I should be anxious a little bit about a big presentation because I want to do well, right? If I am a little bit nervous, I'm going to prepare. I'm going to make sure I, double check things. But when we're overcome with anxiety, we really can't get anything done. And when we're worried about things that we literally have no control over, all you're doing is raising your cortisol levels and inviting chaos into your life. And I strongly discourage inviting chaos into your life. There is a bubble that you can create so that you don't take on all of people's problems, whether it's in your personal life or the world's problems, because it was never yours to fix. Number 3 on my list is do not take anything personal. Now, the 4 Agreements explains this extremely well. It's a book by Miguel Ruiz. You have to understand that people project their thoughts, ideas, feelings onto the world, right? I look at the world as a peaceful place, as a place where I can live and thrive and get whatever I want, because that's how I feel inside of me. I expect goodness. I expect love. I expect kindness. I expect respect. I expect to get what I deserve, which is a lot of things, right? I expect good things to happen to me. And that is actually what happens in my life. Also, when I see other people being mean to me or directing negativity into my way, I know it has nothing to do with me, because to literal strangers, I can be kind. That has nothing to do with them. I'm not being kind because they did something or they're more deserving than somebody else. No, I am a kind person. So when I interact with someone who's arrogant or hateful, none of those things have anything to do with me. That is a person who, regardless of what environment or other person they're across from, will interact in that negative way because that's in them. This can be harder to do when you're in community with people, whether it's a friend or a lover or a boss. You feel like the thing is happening to you, right? Your friend is neglecting you because they think you're a bad person, or they are annoyed with you, or whatever reason you might make up, or that your problems in your relationship or your marriage are because the other person is, wanting to hurt you or be spiteful to you on purpose, right? To you specifically. I'm telling you, none of those things are accurate. I like to use the example of, if someone cuts you off on the road, that's about them. They don't even know who you are in the car. That's just how they interact. I want you to take a similar mind frame with people who are in close relationship with you. It might feel personal, but however someone is treating you, whether they're treating you excellently well or very negative, it has everything to do with the way that they are feeling about themselves, the pain inside of them, or the love inside of them that they are allowing to go through. So who you stay in community with will say a lot about you, right? Because what is it about you that might want to stay in close proximity to someone who treats you badly, who you have to fight to connect with or fight to communicate with, when you could resonate and align with someone who is wanting to be kind and loving to you? So you have to look at it from both sides. The person is projecting their own things, but at the same time, we are also projecting what we want our world to look like. And that's what we end up inviting in. My next tip for living a more peaceful life is learning how to say no. Now, if you're a woman, you probably have been conditioned to go out of your way to accommodate other people, to be considerate of others and their feelings, right? Overly concerned with what other people might feel or think about something that you do. Now is the time. The present is always the time. Now is the time, if you have not learned to say no, and to say no without guilt, to practice it. Because there is nothing to feel guilty about when you are prioritizing yourself. We are not talking about purposefully harming other people because you don't care about people. And, if someone asks me for, I don't know, a small act of kindness, I'm going to say no because I hate people. No, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about your time, your energy, your resources. If you maybe are allocating some money somewhere, but you don't have enough money for yourself, you need to say no. You need to let that person know, I cannot continue funneling finances out of my household to support you because I can barely support myself. Now, if you have an overabundance, you can continue doing what you want to do unless you feel like you're being exploited. You have to figure out in your own life, what do boundaries look like? What does it feel like to be appreciated, for others to recognize your hard work and your value that you bring to them? In those cases, when others recognize who you are and all the wonderful things that you bring, you might find that the reciprocal relationship is there. It's in balance. It's in flow. It's not really a lot of no's that you have to say, but you have to decide, what is the no? Is the no to yourself? No, I'm not going to eat that thing because I know it's not good for me. Is the no to someone else? No, I'm not going to be in community with this person because every time I'm around them, I feel uncomfortable, or they're always doing something harmful to me. You decide what the no is, because the goal is to move in the direction of peace, in the direction of ease and flow. That is what you want. So you have to know how to say no. And there are lots of different ways to say no without actually saying the word no, right? Like, that's not a priority for me, or that's out of my budget. Like, Google different ways to say no without saying no. And you can even use your specific example of whatever you're having a hard time saying no about. If there is guilt, right? If there is guilt, one of the books I recommend is Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Adults. You've been taught by the adults around you that prioritizing yourself as an independent adult is somehow a bad thing. It's a wrong thing, that you're supposed to bend over backwards for other people. I also have another book that my healer had recommended to me. It's not one of my favorites, but you might enjoy it. Anxious to please, like being a people pleaser and going out of your way for people that don't even deserve your goodness or your niceties. Let those people go. Learn how to say no. Next one is curate your social media. Now, if you don't have social media, maybe curate your newsfeed or whatever content you consume. Make sure it is something that leaves you feeling good after having watched it. So I strongly discourage watching the news, but I also encourage that you look at people who represent you in some kind of way. Whether it's your hair, right? I follow a lot of Black women that have natural hair or have locks. I follow a lot of people who like their life, who are enjoying the things they are doing, whether it has to do with fashion or cooking or what, motherhood. Yeah, just like their life or plans. That's a big one for me. Follow people who do not trigger you in a negative way, whether it's jealousy or envy or frustration or, I don't know, confusion, anything that's not peace or loving. I want you to cut that off from whatever your feed is and be open to what is the content that I actually like. That when I leave social media, I think about what I just saw and smile, right? Enjoying whatever it is, whether you find it entertaining or not. I want you to be able to feel a sense of peace. A lot of people doom scroll, and in doom scrolling, there's a lot of comparison or there's a lot of negativity, right? You're just consuming other people's terrible stories, bad lives, drama filled things. If you don't feel a sense of peace after you've consumed the material, I would strongly discourage consuming that. And my last two are kind of related. One is how to date yourself, and the other one is going on a celibacy journey. And I'm including that because, well, it also has me thinking about drugs, because some of y'all are doing more drugs than I think, because in my own right, we project the ideas that we have. I don't know the statistics on how many of y'all are getting high every day or on a regular basis or drinking alcohol every week. All these things are part of like the self-help, self-development, evolution of your soul kind of thing. No one says you can't like drink or enjoy sex or smoke, right? But to be able to do these things in balance so that you feel a sense of peace after having interacted with whatever it is. So I think it's helpful to decenter men, to not make men the object of your drive in life, to not constantly be talking to someone or pursuing a relationship or trying to figure out, does he like me or does he not like me, right? So attached to that, I add, take a break from having sex with people who you're not in a committed relationship with. And also take a break from drugs. Find another coping skill that you could use. Now, if these things bring peace, because some people will say, right, like smoking weed makes them feel calm and relaxed. But if you then have guilt about smoking, it's just not a good idea to continue doing. It sounds like deep inside, you know that this is something that's not really good for you in the long term, and you would like to stop or reduce. I'm not judging, right? I know there are definitely people that find like a balance. Like I still drink wine. It's not like any of these things would be a problem just in and of itself. But you have to figure out like what is the balance for you that would allow more peace into your life. And oftentimes it means less of whatever the vice is. Do less of it. Find a more adaptive coping skill. Talk to a therapist if you need to, so that you can cope with whatever life is throwing your way. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. I I will answer any questions that you have in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share it with another woman who is wanting to invite more peace into her life, and thank you for watching.